Imagine a warm summer evening in Alma, Arkansas. It's June 9th, 1995. You can almost smell the freshly cut grass, right? Hear the sounds from the Little League game, kids shouting, that crack of the bat.
Yeah, classic small town Friday night.
Totally. And as it gets darker, the fireflies start coming out, blinking those little lights. Sounds perfect, almost like a movie scene.
It really does.
Peaceful. But this isn't just some fuzzy memory. That exact evening, that beautiful, ordinary scene, that's when a nightmare started. A mystery that's gripped people, investigators, a family for almost 30 years now.
Right.
We're not just talking about another missing person case here. This is a cold case. And it just had this huge, heartbreaking, but also kind of groundbreaking breakthrough. We're about to step into a story of just unimaginable loss, but also incredible strength and the slow, slow grind of justice.
It's really fascinating, isn't it? How one moment, just a little girl wanting to catch fireflies, can echo through a community for decades. It pulls in, law enforcement across generations, tireless advocates, and now even cutting-edge science, nearly 30 years later. We're going to really dive into that moment, trace the timeline. All the twists, the turns, it shows how persistence and these amazing new tools can actually pull truth out of the past. It's really a story about hope refusing to die.
Okay, so let's get into this deep dive. We've been digging through everything, official police reports, stacks of news articles going way back, and some really personal accounts from people right at the heart of the search for Morgan Nick. She was just 6 years old. Her disappearance just sent shockwaves, really changed things.
Yeah.
So our mission today, we're laying out the critical details, some facts that might surprise you, and just the incredible, tireless effort that defined this case for so long. And it all leads up to this huge revelation, finally pointing fingers at a suspect. You're going to hear about her mother's fight. Just unbelievable resilience.
Incredible. Right?
The frustrating roadblocks investigators hit for years, and then boom, these modern forensic techniques that just cracked this thing wide open after almost 3 decades.
And just so everyone knows where this info comes from, we're relying on really solid factual reporting. We've looked at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the AP archives, local Arkansas news outlets. They've been on this since day one, obviously, and even information from the Morgan Nick Foundation itself, which her mom started.
Right.
So we want to give you a really comprehensive, accurate picture, and a human one, too. We'll walk through how things unfolded, look at the evidence as it evolved, and explore those questions that still linger. All based on the work of so many people who just poured everything into finding answers for Morgan and her family.
Okay, let's go back. Back to that night. June 9th, 1995. Alma, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Mid-90s. It really was that classic small American town, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Tight-knit place. Everybody knows everybody, or feels like they do. Kids playing outside, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And the Little League game on a Friday, that wasn't just a game. It was like the social event of the week. The whole town's practically there. The sounds, kids laughing, bats cracking, parents chatting under the lights. Just total innocence.
A real snapshot of Americana.
And 6-year-old Morgan Nick was right in the middle of it all. Born September 12th, 1988. Just this bright, energetic little girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, full of life, At the time, she was about 4 feet tall, maybe 55 pounds. And one detail, it's heartbreaking, but important for investigators, she had 5 little silver caps on her back teeth. A tiny detail, but it became part of her description. She was there with her mom, Colleen Nick, just enjoying the end of the game.
Yeah.
So as the evening's winding down, the lights fading, Morgan does what kids do. She asks her mom, can I go catch fireflies with my friends? It was getting kind of late, around 10:30 p.m.
Right, late for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, so Colleen hesitates for a sec. You know that feeling as a parent, right?
Yeah.
Bedtime versus letting them have that little bit of magic.
Totally.
Yeah.
That internal debate.
But she says, okay, let's Morgan go join her friends in the parking lot area, just off the field, chasing those little blinking lights. Seems so harmless, right? Just a sweet childhood moment.
The kind you remember forever. Or should. But this moment, it just turned dark so fast. Morgan's last seen around 10:45 p.m., so only like 15 minutes after she went to catch fireflies. Her friend said she was near her mom's car. It was a white Ford Festiva, just carefully emptying sand out of her little white tennis shoes.
Okay.
Her friends were just a few feet away doing the same thing. Kids get sand everywhere,
Always.
And then, this is the detail that just chills you. Her friends, these little kids, they remembered seeing a creepy man talking to Morgan while she was putting her shoes back on.
Oh, man. Creepy. From a kid. That means something.
Right. That single observation from these young witnesses, it became the absolute cornerstone of this whole nightmare. That was the last time anyone saw Morgan Nick.
The game ends just after that, maybe 10:55 p.m. People start leaving. Colleen, mom instinct, glances over to check on Morgan and her friends.
Yeah.
And Morgan's not with them. That quick look turns into instant panic. She's calling Morgan's name, searching frantically around the car, the parking lot. She's just gone.
Oh, God.
Morgan Nick was, as the reports say, never seen or heard from again. The fireflies kept blinking in the dark, but for Colleen, for Alma, the light just went out.
Unimaginable. Just gone.
Yeah.
So the alarm goes up immediately, I assume.
Instantly.
Right. And that triggers this huge search effort. Like that same night, it wasn't just police, right? It was volunteers, too.
Oh, yeah. Massive. Police. Hundreds of people from the town. They were shocked, terrified. They searched everywhere around the ballpark, nearby woods, neighborhoods, along the creeks. Anywhere a little girl might be or might have been taken.
That urgency with a missing child, every single second counts.
Totally. But despite all that effort, right away, nothing. Just absolutely no sign of her, no dropped shoe, no sign of a struggle, just empty space.
Wow. That makes it so hard from the start. No obvious trail to follow, just a void.
Exactly, a chilling void.
So attention must have turned pretty quickly to that creepy man the kids mentioned and the vehicle.
Right away.
Did they get a description of him?
Yeah, the witnesses, including the kids, described him white male, about 6 feet tall, medium to solid build, and he had a mustache and about a 1-inch beard. They figured he was probably somewhere between, say, 23 and 38 years old at the time.
Okay, that's fairly specific. Mustache and beard, age range.
Yeah, and that description went into the first composite sketches they put out everywhere, trying to get a face out there.
And the vehicle, that became crucial, didn't it?
Hugely crucial. Witnesses described this dull red Ford pickup truck.
Yep.
Short wheelbase. But the really distinctive thing was this white camper shell on the back.
A camper shell.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything specific about it?
Yes, several things, actually. It was apparently like 4 or 5 inches too short for the truck bed, so it looked kind of weird, ill-fitting.
Odd detail.
Yeah, and maybe damage on the right rear side. Plus, it had curtains in the windows, and they thought it had Arkansas plates.
Yeah. Too short, possibly damaged curtains. That's a lot of specific detail for a witness description. That truck and driver must have become priority number one.
Absolutely. From day one, that specific truck, that specific description, that felt like the most solid lead they had in those first awful hours and days.
Yeah.
If they could find that truck, maybe they could find Morgan.
Right. Makes sense.
But even with those details and that massive immediate search, the investigation just struggled. It really shows how tough these cases are without, immediate physical evidence or a witness saying, I saw him put her in that truck.
Yeah, the first 48 hours are critical, but if you don't get that break.
Exactly. They set up roadblocks right away, hoping to catch someone leaving the area. They talked to hundreds, maybe thousands of people who were at the game, just trying to piece together anything.
Combing through every little detail.
Yeah, circulated those composite sketches everywhere, posters, local news, just hoping someone would recognize him.
Did the FBI get involved quickly?
They did. The seriousness of it brought them in pretty fast. They added resources, expertise, and they offered a big reward too. $60,000, which was a lot of money back in 1995.
Trying to encourage someone, anyone, with information to come forward.
Right, and tips did come in, hundreds of them, from all over. Police, volunteers, they followed up on every single one. Sightings, theories, but nothing panned out. Every lead just fizzled. Days turned into weeks, months, years, no solid clues about what happened or who took her. The case just got colder and colder.
Heartbreaking. All that effort and still nothing concrete. Shows the limits of investigation back then, maybe?
Definitely. And it really highlights why what happened later with forensics was so important.
Okay, so the trail goes cold for a while, but then something happens a couple months later.
Yeah, 2 months later, August 1995. Something happens in Van Buren, Arkansas, which is like practically next door to Alma, right? Maybe 10 minutes away.
Very close. What happened?
An 11-year-old girl is walking near a Sonic restaurant with her little brothers, and this guy in a red pickup truck pulls up. He starts making lewd remarks, offers her money, tries to get her into his truck.
Oh, wow. Similar MO. Red truck trying to lure a young girl.
Exactly. Thankfully, she ran away, screamed, got to safety. But here's the key part. A witness, someone nearby who saw this happen, was quick-thinking enough to get the truck's license plate number.
Ah, crucial. A license plate. That's a game changer.
Totally.
So who did the plate belong to?
It led them straight to a guy named Billy Jack Lincks. He was 72 years old at the time, lived in Crawford County, where both Alma and Van Buren are. Police arrested him on August 29, 1995, for that attempted abduction and solicitation in Van Buren.
72. Okay. But the red truck, the attempted abduction of a girl right near Alma. Lincks must have immediately become a person of interest in Morgan's case, too.
Oh, absolutely. The similarities were just too stark to ignore. Investigators were all over it. This felt like maybe the break they needed, even though it wasn't directly Morgan's case initially.
So they questioned him about Morgan.
They did. Just 2 days after his Van Buren arrest, on August 31st, 1995, they asked him straight up about Morgan Nick.
What did he say?
He denied everything. Said he knew nothing about Morgan's abduction, and critically, investigators didn't have any hard physical evidence tying him specifically to Morgan.
Okay, no direct link at that point.
Right. And here's a really significant detail that became a problem back then. When they arrested Lincks in Van Buren, his truck, it was a red 1986 Chevy pickup. It did not have a camper shell on it.
But the truck seen at the ballpark did have that distinctive white camper shell.
Exactly. So that was a major discrepancy.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Did they look into the camper shell thing more?
They did. It gets a bit more complicated because a neighbor, when asked later, apparently remembered Lincks having a camper shell on his truck just a few months ago, which would have been right around June when Morgan vanished. But the neighbor said it was gone by the end of the summer.
Huh. So he might have had it around the right time, but didn't have it when he was arrested. That's suspicious.
Very suspicious. But still, without physical proof connecting him to Morgan, and maybe because his age 72 didn't quite match that initial 23 to 38 profile.
Right, that's a big age difference from the initial description.
Yeah. So despite the strong suspicions, they couldn't make the charge stick for Morgan's case back then. No physical evidence, the age discrepancy, the missing camper shell at the time of arrest. They had to move on. And the case just tragically went cold again for years.
Wow. So close, yet so far.
Yeah.
Just shows the limits back then. If only they'd found that truck with the shell on it, or had today's forensics.
Exactly. Hindsight is brutal. But while the official investigation stalled, Morgan's mom, Colleen, she never stopped fighting. Her strength is just staggering.
Absolutely. Colleen Nick became this incredible force. She refused to let Morgan be forgotten.
Totally. Keeping her story alive. That was her mission. Morgan's case was featured on huge national shows, right? Like Unsolved Mysteries, America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, putting her face, her story in front of millions, hoping someone somewhere knew something. And more recently, that Hulu documentary series, Still Missing Morgan, in February 2023, that brought a whole new wave of attention to the case.
Right. Just relentless.
And it wasn't just about her case. In 1996, just a year after Morgan disappeared, Colleen founded the Morgan Nick Foundation. She turned her own agony into action.
That's amazing. What does the foundation do?
It does incredible work, educating kids and teens about personal safety, online safety, trying to prevent abductions in the first place, and providing just crucial support for families going through that nightmare and helping law enforcement, too.
Wow.
And her impact went national. She actually co-founded NCMAC's Team Hope. That's a peer support group for families of missing kids. She did that with Patty Wetterling.
Patty Wetterling, Jacob Wetterling's mother, another heartbreaking case.
Exactly. So you see how Morgan's story and Colleen's fight really changed things, created support systems that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
It's about turning tragedy into resilience, really.
It really is. But even with all that advocacy, the journey for answers was just filled with these awful false hopes, wasn't it? These searches that went nowhere.
Oh, absolutely devastating. Like in January 2002, nearly 7 years later, they got this highly specific tip about Morgan's remains being buried in Boonville, Arkansas.
Boonville, about 60 miles away.
Right. They took it seriously. Brought in a backhoe, cadaver dogs, dug up this private property.
Yeah.
Media's there, hopes are high. Nothing. Called off the search after hours.
Yeah.
Said they found nothing, weren't planning to go back, just another dead end. Imagine the emotional toll on the family.
Crushing. Just absolutely crushing.
And it happened again, years later, over in Spiro, Oklahoma, just across the state line.
Oklahoma, why there?
Well, in November 2010, federal agents searched an empty house there, looking for DNA. Based on a tip she might have been held there. Nothing came of it then.
Okay.
But then years later, December 2017, they go back to the same house. Another tip. This time, cadaver dogs alerted to an old water well on the property.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
Yeah, that became the absolute focus.
Huh.
Huge search, crews working for 2 days, digging, sifting. Intense hope again.
Please tell me they found something.
Tragically, no. After all that effort, no evidence was found. Another search called off. It just underscores the persistence, but also the repeated agony for the family, chasing every lead, hope soaring, then crashing. Over and over.
It's unimaginable. And then there was that really weird thing in 2012 with people trying to steal her identity.
Oh, that was bizarre and just awful. Yeah, 2 convicted felons arrested for trying to basically become Morgan Nick online, impersonating her as an adult for computer fraud.
Just exploiting a missing child's tragedy for money. Disgusting.
Truly.
Yeah.
Shows the awful opportunism out there. But through all of it, the cold case, the failed searches, the identity theft stuff, Colleen just held on to hope, kept sharing those age-progressed photos of Morgan.
Yeah, I've seen those, showing what she might look like now.
Right. Always believing, or at least hoping, she might still be out there. She famously said she hoped other families can take solace from the advice she got. You can't give up hope. And she really lived that.
She absolutely did, an iron will. So the case is called for decades. Then what finally breaks it open?
It took a long time, but things started moving again with a systematic cold case review in 2019.
Okay, fresh eyes, new determination.
Exactly. And this review brought investigators right back to Billy Jack Lincks. With renewed focus, Alma police and the FBI went back over everything. And they managed to do something crucial. They found Lincks' old 1986 Chevy pickup truck.
They found the actual truck after all those years.
They did. It had been sold, passed through several owners over, nearly 25 years, finding it was a huge piece of detective work.
Wow. So what did they do with it?
Well, in July 2019, they tracked down the current owner. This person had zero connection to Lincks or the case, thankfully, and they let the police examine the truck. Then, in 2020, the FBI's evidence response team went over that truck with a fine-tooth comb.
Processing it for forensics?
Exactly. Collecting every tiny fiber, every potential trace of evidence, and they carefully saved it all, waiting for the kind of testing that just didn't exist back in the 90s. That was the key, the waiting for the science to catch up.
Right, because DNA testing back then was so limited, especially for tiny or old samples.
Precisely. We talk about trace evidence, maybe a single hair, a few skin cells. Back in 95, you needed a pretty good chunk of relatively clean DNA to get a profile. If it was degraded by time or just too small, the tech often couldn't do much with it.
So samples that are useful now might have been useless then.
Absolutely. That's why this evidence from the truck had to wait. It needed that next generation of forensic science.
And that next generation arrived when?
Late 2023. They sent the evidence they'd collected from Lincks' truck to Othram Incorporated. They're a lab in Texas that specializes in this really cutting-edge forensic DNA work.
Othram, okay, I've heard of them. They work on a lot of cold cases, right? Pulling DNA from really difficult samples.
Exactly. They're known for being able to get profiles from tiny, degraded, or complex samples, touch DNA, stuff like that. Perfect for a case this old.
So what kind of techniques did they use?
They use something called forensic-grade genome sequencing. It's way beyond traditional DNA testing. Think of it like taking a completely shattered vase and being able to piece together almost every single tiny shard to see the whole original picture.
Wow.
It allowed them to build a really comprehensive DNA profile from tiny degraded hair strands found in that truck, just extracting way more information than was ever possible before.
Incredible. And they compared it to?
To a reference sample provided by Colleen Nick, Morgan's mom.
Okay. And the results?
The results came back in September 2024, and they were, as investigators put it, groundbreaking. The test showed, without a doubt, that the hair found in Lincks' truck came from someone closely related to Colleen Nick.
Meaning?
Meaning it had to be Colleen herself, one of her other kids, or one of her siblings.
Okay. But here's the critical part, right?
This is the absolute key.
Yeah.
None of Morgan's relatives had ever met Billy Jack Lincks. They'd never been anywhere near him or his truck.
So that hair, it had to be Morgan's.
The conclusion was undeniable. The hair found in Billy Jack Lincks' truck belonged to Morgan Nick. After almost 30 years, they had direct physical evidence linking her to that truck, to the prime suspect.
Wow. Just wow. Finally. Scientific proof.
And it wasn't just the hair. They found other forensic evidence, too.
Really? What else?
A tiny blue-green cotton fiber found stuck deep in the truck's floor mat in metal crevices, FBI analysts used microscopes, really advanced analysis. They matched that fiber directly to Morgan's green Girl Scout t-shirt, the exact shirt she was wearing the night she disappeared.
No way, a fiber from her shirt.
Yes. That detail actually came out in that 2023 documentary. It was another incredibly specific, powerful link. Morgan was in that truck.
That's chillingly definitive. Was there anything else?
They also found blood on one of the truck seats. Now, back when they found it, the technology wasn't good enough to get a conclusive DNA match from that particular sample. But still, finding blood, along with her hair, and a fiber from her shirt. It paints a very grim, but much clearer picture of what likely happened inside that vehicle.
Yeah. It points towards violence, a struggle.
It certainly suggests that. So with all this new forensic evidence, the hair, the fiber, the location of the blood, it all came together.
And led to the official announcement.
Exactly. On October 1st, 2024, Alma Police Chief Jeff Pointer held a press conference, the moment so many had waited decades for. For the first time ever, Billy Jack Lincks was officially named as the suspect in Morgan Nick's abduction.
Finally, after 29 years.
Pointer stated it clearly. The evidence strongly indicates that Morgan had been in Lincks' truck. Public confirmation of what they'd suspected but couldn't prove for so long.
That must have been such a complex moment for the family. Relief, maybe, but also pain.
Absolutely. It's incredibly bittersweet, isn't it? You finally have a name, scientific proof linking him, a likely culprit identified after decades of agonizing uncertainty. That's a victory of sorts. But Billy Jack Lincks died back in 2000. In prison, actually, serving time for that other attempted abduction in Van Buren. He died at age 77.
So he can never be questioned about Morgan, never face charges for her case.
Never. The chance for answers directly from him, for legal justice in the traditional sense, for Morgan's abduction, that's gone forever. It's a stark reminder that even when science solves a piece of a cold case, it doesn't always bring complete closure. The why and the full how might remain locked away.
Yeah. The biggest questions still hang in the air, don't they? Even with a named suspect.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Identifying Lincks was huge. But it doesn't answer everything.
Yeah.
How exactly did he get her from the ballpark? What happened right after she was in the truck? Did he have help? Was anyone else involved in taking her? Or maybe covering it up later?
And the biggest, most painful question. Where is Morgan?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where is she now? Chief Pointer made that very clear at the press conference. This investigation is not over. It is ongoing and active. Finding Morgan, bringing her home. That's still the ultimate goal.
So investigators must have theories about what likely happened based on Lincks' profile and the evidence, keeping in mind it's speculation.
Right, and it is speculation, but it's informed speculation based on patterns and the known facts.
Right.
The most likely theory, given Lincks' history as a predator in the Van Buren incident, is that he acted alone.
Just saw an opportunity.
Probably. Morgan was alone for just a moment near the car, focused on her shoes. Her friends saw a man talking to her. Maybe he lured her closer with a question, then grabbed her, forced her quickly into the camper shell to hide her.
And the evidence in the truck, the hair, the fiber, the blood, suggests some kind of struggle or contact happened there.
It strongly suggests that yes. Given his predatory nature, the tragic likelihood, many investigators believe, is that he probably sexually assaulted and killed her fairly soon after the abduction, maybe that night or the next day.
And then disposed of her body somewhere.
That's the assumption. Before roadblocks were fully up, before the search really saturated the area. Somewhere remote.
Which leads to the awful question of where.
Exactly. Where would he have taken her? He lived in Crawford County, knew western Arkansas, possibly eastern Oklahoma too, from earlier in his life. So the thinking is maybe a secluded spot he knew well, woods, a riverbank, an old farm, maybe even a well.
Like the ones they searched in Boonville and Spiro.
Precisely. Those searches were likely based on tips suggesting those areas. Maybe Lincks had a connection, maybe someone heard something. But finding remains after decades, especially if buried or concealed, it's incredibly hard without very specific information. Nature reclaims things. Landscapes change.
Makes the search incredibly difficult. What about the idea of an accomplice? Did police mention that?
They have publicly raised that possibility, yes.
Yeah.
That someone else might know something or have helped Lincks. Maybe not in the abduction itself, but afterwards.
Like helping him get rid of the camper shell? Or other evidence?
Potentially. Or maybe someone just saw him acting strangely that night or the next day and stayed quiet all these years. Out of fear, maybe misguided loyalty. Considering Lincks was 72, some wonder if he needed help with the physical aspects, like disposing of a body or thoroughly cleaning the truck.
Is there any actual evidence of an accomplice?
None that's been made public. But they haven't ruled it out. And that's why they keep appealing for anyone who knew Lincks, worked with him, socialized with him, to share anything they remember, no matter how small it seems.
Hoping maybe someone's conscience after all this time.
Exactly. Maybe the passage of time, or seeing Colleen's continued pleas, might finally prompt someone to come forward. That tiny detail could be the key.
Are there other theories? Like, was trafficking ever considered?
Early on, when there are no answers, people speculate. Trafficking, illegal adoption, maybe she was alive somewhere. The family certainly held on to that hope for a long time.
Understandably.
But the forensic evidence now, linking Lincks, who had no known ties to that world, plus the signs of violence in the truck, it points much more strongly towards a solitary, opportunistic predator and, tragically, a homicide soon after the abduction. Every known clue really aligns with that scenario now, unfortunately.
Which brings us back to the ongoing search and the public's help being crucial.
Absolutely vital. The FBI, Alma police, they're pleading for anyone with any information about Lincks, his habits, friends, places he went, anything unusual around June 9th, 1995 to come forward. They keep saying no detail is too small.
Because you just never know what might connect the dots.
Exactly. That little piece of memory someone has held onto, thinking it was nothing. It could be the missing puzzle piece right now.
It really speaks to the power of community memory, doesn't it, even after 30 years?
It's immense. People hold on to things. Maybe they were scared, maybe they thought it wasn't important. But this case shows that old information, combined with new technology and renewed focus, can suddenly become critical. Justice sometimes really does need that collective memory. That one forgotten detail could still unlock everything.
So here we are, almost 30 years later, 2025. Morgan Nick is still missing.
Still officially missing. She'd be 37 years old now.
37. It's hard to even process that. June 2025 will be the 30th anniversary. 30 years since that night. A lifetime. But for her family, time must feel very different.
Completely different. But Morgan's legacy, it endures in really significant ways. The Arkansas State Amber Alert System. It's officially called the Morgan Nick Amber Alert.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a direct result of her case. A permanent reminder woven into the state system for protecting kids. Her disappearance profoundly changed how Arkansas, and really the country, responded to abductions. The Amber Alert system itself owes a lot to the urgency highlighted by cases like hers and Jacob Wetterling's.
That's powerful. A lasting impact. And Colleen Nick, her spirit through all this.
Indomitable is the only word. Her statement after Lincks was named. It's just incredible. She said, he stole Morgan from me. He stole her from her dad. He stole her from Logan and Taryn. But he didn't know that he could never win because our love for Morgan, her memory and her voice outlasted his life, and that life continues to shine.
Chills, just unbelievable strength and love. Her resolve to never give up hope just never wavered.
Never. And the Morgan Nick Foundation she started back in '96. It's still going strong, doing vital work, helping families, educating kids. It's a living legacy.
It really makes you think, what can we all learn from this? From the persistence, the science, the community involvement?
It raises big questions, doesn't it? About how we keep fighting for every missing child, how we use every tool we have, no matter how much time passes, until we find every single answer.
So this deep dive, it shows incredible loss, unbelievable resilience, and that slow, grinding progress of justice, finally naming a suspect. But that final chapter, the one with real peace, real answers, it's still not written, is it?
No, it's not. Identifying Lincks was huge, a testament to science and sheer determination. But the ultimate question, where is Morgan? That remains agonizingly unanswered.
And investigators are still actively working on that.
Absolutely. Tirelessly. Trying to figure out what happened after she was taken. Hoping for that one detail, that one tip that could finally lead them to her. Alma Police, Arkansas State Police, the FBI. They are still asking for help.
So let's make that clear one more time. If you or anyone you know has any information at all about Billy Jack Lincks, maybe you knew him from work, church, socially, anything about his activities around June 9th, 1995, or anything connected to Morgan Nick's disappearance, even if it seems tiny, insignificant, please come forward.
Please do.
You can call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The number is 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. Your call could be the one that finally makes the difference. It could bring Morgan home.
30 years ago, a moment of kindness let a little girl chase fireflies. Today, a single act of courage, just sharing what you know, what you remember, could finally bring light into one of America's longest, darkest mysteries. The power of memory, combined with that unwavering determination we've seen from Colleen, from investigators, it can still change the ending. It can still bring answers and maybe some peace. What piece of that puzzle might you hold?